Well, the new year is quickly approaching, and as we look ahead to 2024, now really is the perfect time to reset our homes and our lives for the new season. Of course, every day offers the chance for a fresh start, but the new year does feel like a special marker in our calendars, a chance for us to pause, to reflect, and to dream. So today I want to explore a number of tangible and practical ways that you can build on your successes from this past year and refresh or change up some things that just might not quite be working. So now let's get right into this. I want to share with you 15 easy ways that you can reset your life for 2024. And one invaluable practice that can really set the tone for your entire year is to spend time looking back and looking forward. Spending time both in reflecting on the past and dreaming about the future is something that can provide so many benefits when done periodically throughout our lives, and the new year, it really is an ideal time to do so. There are so many ways that you can engage in this type of reflection, a lot of really practical tools that can help guide you along the way, but in my opinion, one of the simplest ways to go about this is simply to look back and to look forward. So just grab either a journal or a blank sheet of paper. On one side, write down look back, and then begin asking yourself questions like, how have I grown in this past year? What have I achieved this year? What were some of my favorite memories this year? What were some struggles I encountered? What can I learn from these triumphs and struggles? And is there anything that I want to let go of? Just spend some time reflecting on and processing this past year. If any other questions come to mind as you're journaling, go ahead and write those down and spend time answering and diving into those as well. Then as you wrap up looking back, you then want to transition to looking forward. So either on a new sheet of paper or perhaps on the other side of your piece of paper, go ahead and write down look forward, and then start asking yourself questions like, what are my hopes and dreams for this upcoming year? What are my biggest goals for 2024? Are there any habits that I'd like to build? Are there any habits I'd like to break? Who or what are the people or things that are most important to me? And how can I make investing in those relationships and activities more of a priority in 2024? Again, take some time reflecting on these questions, but spending time in this way, looking back and looking forward, can really help you to recognize how far you've come, set the direction for what you want your life to look like going forward. And then another great way to enter the new year feeling refreshed and a bit lighter is to simplify your space. Especially if you were perhaps given a few new things over the Christmas season, or you're just wanting to enter 2024 with a simplified and more intentional feeling space, then spending some quality time decluttering can make a huge difference. A couple of ways to go about doing this are you can do just a massive decluttering spree where you dedicate an afternoon or even an entire day just to going around your house and decluttering anything and everything that you find that's no longer either adding value to your life or serving you in some way. Personally, I love doing those a handful of times a year, but if you're looking for maybe a bit more of a manageable way to put this one into practice, something else that you can do is a decluttering challenge like the 30-day minimalism game. Essentially, the way that it works is, as the name suggests, it's a 30-day challenge where you try to declutter however many items is on that particular day of the month. So on the first, you're going to declutter 1 item, the second 2 items, the third 3 items, and so on. That can be a really easy way to make that decluttering process feel a bit more manageable while also resulting in you, by the end of the month, decluttering nearly 500 items from your life. So that can be another really powerful way to declutter as well. It's actually something I'm considering doing for the month of January. But either way you decide to go about it, decluttering your home and just simplifying your space can really help to refresh your life and your home going into the new year. Then another practice that I find just so valuable is taking one step in the direction of the life you want. And just think about, in your dreaming about the future, were there any big life changes that you are wanting to make? Often, the biggest life changes begin with just one small step in the right direction. It's like that saying, how do you climb a mountain? One step at a time. So whatever that goal is, whatever that change is that you're wanting to make, just start somewhere. Maybe it's that you want to prioritize your fitness. Begin with just going to the gym one day, then another, then another, then another, and before you know it, it will become a habit and a part of your lifestyle. Or maybe it's something completely different. You want to make some new friends going into 2024. Maybe you can challenge yourself either to say hi to a stranger or to sign up for some fun class or activity that interests you. Figure out what one small step is that you can take in the direction of your goal and begin there. Of course, though, sometimes the change that we want to create can feel too big or overwhelming, or we've tried to solve our problems on our own, and we just end up feeling stuck. If there's something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from reaching your goals, then therapy can be a big help, which is why I am so excited that BetterHelp is sponsoring this portion of today's video. The way BetterHelp works is they connect you with a licensed therapist who's trained to listen and to give you helpful, unbiased advice in a format that's comfortable for you. So you can have your therapy session either as a phone call, video chat, or even via messaging. To get started, all you need to do is fill out a questionnaire that will help to assess your specific needs. Then you'll be matched with your therapist, in most cases in less than 48 hours. I totally get that starting therapy can be hard, but what I love about BetterHelp is that they can match you to one of over 30,000 therapists in their network, which can give you access to a broader range of expertise than might be available in your local area. If the therapist you're first matched with doesn't quite feel like the right fit, which can be common when starting therapy, you can easily switch to a new therapist at no additional cost. Plus, you'll be able to schedule your therapy sessions at a time that's convenient for you. So if you think that you might benefit from therapy, consider BetterHelp. To get started, just click on the link in the description box, or you can go to betterhelp.com/Ashlynne. When you visit that link, not only does it help to support my channel, but you can also get 10% off your first month at BetterHelp to connect with a therapist and to see if it helps you. But now let's continue our discussion of some more practical ways that you can reset your life for the new year. Something else that I'd recommend doing is adjusting your rhythms. Take a close look at your habits, your routines, whatever it is you're doing currently, and think through how you might be able to revamp or make adjustments so that your routines can work for you and not against you. How can you make them more value aligned so that you can be making progress towards your goals, not just plateauing or even moving backwards? So maybe this means that you need to start getting up earlier to get back into the practice of reading daily. Maybe you want to create a cleaning schedule so your house just feels more clean and organized at all times. Whatever those changes are, begin with first identifying them and then doing what you need to put them into practice. Then something else that I would highly recommend doing is to take some time over the holidays to properly get in touch with and to assess your finances. And lifestyle creep, where we naturally tend to spend more either as our income rises or we just aren't paying as much attention to our budget, can often happen without our even realizing, and that is especially true at this time of year. So going into the new year, now is a great time to reevaluate your budget, your savings, your spending, your giving, perhaps your debt payoff for investments. Do a deep dive, take a close look at everything, see if there are any adjustments that you need to make to ensure that the way that you're stewarding your money is value aligned and intentional rather than haphazard. Now I know that discussions around money aren't always the most fun, sometimes they can even be a bit stressful, but by being proactive and making a plan now can set you up for success not just this year, but for years to come as well. All right, but then another very powerful way to reset for the new year is to declutter your life. With this one, I'm not talking about your possessions, although as we already talked about, that can be great too. But instead, I'm talking about your time, your habits, and your lifestyle. Spend some time in reflection on what your life and schedule look like, especially in comparison to what you want them to look like. I want you to think through, are there any commitments, bad habits, or perhaps even relationships that are causing you more stress and anxiety than fulfillment and joy? I think for most of us, there are often a handful, so see if you can identify maybe 1 to 3 aspects of your life that you can let go of in the new year to create a schedule and a life that just fosters more fulfillment and peace. But then a really simple practice you can do is just to move your body every day. During the colder months, and especially during the holidays, it can be easy to let exercise and movement just fall to the wayside. The thing is, exercise is so beneficial, not just to our bodies and physical health, but it also boosts our energy, helps us to sleep better, and even improves our mental health. So I want to encourage you, whether in big ways or in small, try to incorporate daily movement. And hear me, this doesn't need to be huge. You don't need to go and run a marathon. It can be as simple as just incorporating a walk into your daily routine. So whatever you want this to look like, whether that's going for walks, running, going to the gym, or anything else, begin moving your body and reaping the benefits. Then another impactful way to reset your home for the new year is to spend some time organizing messy spots in your home. I feel like every home has just a handful of always in a state of chaos spots that you can organize and tidy up, but it feels like the moment you do so, they're just instantly messy again. It's these spots that I'd recommend tackling. But as you do so, I really want you to strategize not just how you can tidy them, but how you can keep them from falling into disorder going forward. So think through, do you need to declutter? Do you need to add in some new organizational tool? Or do you just maybe need to move things to different places that might be more practical throughout your home? Try to get to the root cause of the problem, figure out what you can do to solve it, and then just implement whatever solutions you come up with. Okay, but then another big one is just to get clear on your goals. With so many of the practices that we've talked about today, it's one thing to think about and another thing entirely to put what you've decided or learned into practice. One of the best ways to set yourself up for success is to get clear on your goals, to figure out what are the practical steps that you need to take to get started. One really easy way to do this is just to begin with setting SMART goals. So those are goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Just by writing out and identifying each one of these can really help you to gain clarity around what it is exactly that you're trying to achieve, as well as how to get there. Then once you've gone through this process, it's all about doing what we were talking about earlier and beginning to take small daily steps in the direction of your goal. All right, but then just another quick way to simplify your life for the new year is to unfollow and unsubscribe. Spend some time curating a positive and inspiring digital landscape that will help to move you in the direction of the person you want to be. These days, there can be a lot of distraction and negativity online. And so by narrowing down your follows can help to intentionalize your digital space and help to create an environment that's positive and uplifting for you rather than something that brings you down. Then I want to touch on something just a bit more fun that you can do as we head into the new year. That's just to refresh your space. As you take down your Christmas or any other holiday decor that you may have had up, take the opportunity to inject some new life into your home. So on the practical side of things, it's a great idea to clean any spaces that may have gotten a bit neglected over the holidays. And then if, as I can definitely relate to, your home can sometimes feel a bit sad or empty after Christmas, why not inject some new life into your home in the form of fresh greenery or florals? It's amazing how something as simple as a fresh bouquet of flowers really can just liven up your home and make it feel so much cozier. All right, then another very practical step that you can take to prepare for the new year is to schedule a life admin day. And over the festive season, it is often all too easy for a lot of our just general life responsibilities to get put on the back burner as we perhaps enjoy time with family, spend time traveling, or are off of work. So coming into the new year, it can be so helpful just to set aside an entire day to work through some of those little life responsibilities that seem to add up so quickly. So whether there are just a number of appointments that you need to schedule, you're wanting to take donations to the thrift store, maybe you want to spend some time emptying your inbox, paying bills, or canceling subscriptions. Whatever those small things are that you may have been putting off, I love just spending a day to get as many of them as possible done. The way I like to go about these sort of life admin days is just to begin with doing a brain dump of everything that I want to accomplish. And then I'll go back and group like items together, figure out what my priorities are, and then I'll just start working through my list one item at a time. I promise if you do one of these, you'll just be shocked by how much you're able to accomplish. All right, we have just a few left here, but something else that I'm a huge fan of is planning a solo retreat. We've already talked about the difference that spending time in reflection can make, but realistically, there's only so much that you're able to get done in an hour or two. That's fine if all you're needing is a bit of a check-in. But if you're approaching a major life change, or you're wanting to spend some dedicated time in that life-changing planning, reflecting, and dreaming, then a solo retreat really can be so valuable. Whether you want to get away for a night, a weekend, or perhaps even longer, getting away from your regular routines and rhythms and into an environment where you can spend 100% of your time and energy focusing on nourishing your mind, body, and soul truly can make a world of difference. I went on one of these this past summer, and it truly was such a time of rest, of rejuvenation, and it helped to shape my vision for what I wanted the next few years of my life to look like. But then moving on, another practical way to refresh your home is just to spend some time cleaning any forgotten areas. I find that with cleaning, there are often a lot of routine things that we do as soon as we notice them getting dirty, whether that's cleaning up our kitchen, tidying our bathroom, or anything like that. However, there can often be a number of areas as well that can be a bit neglected, or even just that we tend to forget entirely about. So in preparing for the new year, it can be a great time to focus on some of those often forgotten spaces. I'd recommend trying to identify maybe 3 to 5 of those tasks and spend some time checking each one of those off. So this might look like spending some time wiping down your baseboards, replacing your air filters, touching up the paint on your walls. Whatever this looks like for you, spend some time focusing on those areas. But then I also want you to follow up by either setting a reminder or putting in your calendar when is the next time that you want to tackle each one of those areas. By scheduling the next time that you're going to clean those areas now, even if it's a few months out, can help you to maintain a tidier and cleaner space going forward. Then finally, I want to end this off with one of my personal favorites, and that's to take a break. One of the best ways to prepare for the new year is to take some time now to switch off for a bit and to truly rest. So if you have some vacation between Christmas and the new year, try using some of those days off to simply do nothing. I like to call them agenda-less days, and they are such a perfect opportunity to rest and to recharge. But of course, if you do find that you have a hard time doing nothing, something else I like to do is just to plan a handful. You don't want to go too crazy with this, but just a small number of activities that energize you. Either way, taking a break now will help to give you fresh energy going into the new year. Well, I hope that this has given you some practical ideas and inspiration on ways that you can reset your life for the new year. Now, I just want to leave you with one final encouragement, and that's don't feel like you need to do all of these. I feel like with lists like this, we can sometimes feel a bit overwhelmed, feeling like we need to do it all. Realistically, though, that is just a recipe for burnout. So in reflecting on this list, try to identify maybe a handful of these activities that stood out to you and start there. Of course, if you want to, you can always add more later, but I like starting small, and I often find that that's where we gain the greatest benefit. Now, I would love to know, what are some of the habits that you like to practice to prepare for the new year? Be sure to let me know in the comments, and as always, don't forget to give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, friends, I'm wishing you all an amazing start to the new year. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, friends.